Imagine waking up one morning in June. You expect sunshine, but instead, snow is falling, your crops are frozen, and summer never comes. How can an entire season disappear? This actually happened in 1816. But what could possibly cause something like this? Farmers in the United States were completely confused. Snow in June, frost in July, crops dying overnight. People started asking a terrifying question. Did something happen to the sun? But the sun wasn't the problem. Something far more powerful had already happened the year before, and almost nobody realized it yet. 1815, on a remote island in Indonesia, a massive volcano called Mount Tambora suddenly erupted. At first, people heard what sounded like thunder, but it kept getting louder. Because it wasn't thunder, it was the mountain exploding. The blast was so powerful that people more than 1,200 miles away could hear it. Entire villages were destroyed. Ash covered the sky, and scientists estimate that around 71,000 people died from the disaster and the famine that followed. But here's the strange part. The worst damage didn't happen on the island. So where did it happen? High above the Earth. The eruption launched huge amounts of ash and sulfur gases into the atmosphere, much higher than normal clouds. So high that global winds began spreading those particles around the entire planet. But why would ash in the sky matter to people thousands of miles away? Because those tiny particles started doing something dangerous. They began blocking sunlight. Not completely, but enough to slowly change the planet's temperature. And when sunlight can't reach the Earth normally, the planet starts cooling. But how much cooling could this actually cause? By 1816, the weather around the world started behaving strangely. Spring felt colder than normal. The sky often looked hazy, and when summer should have arrived, it barely showed up. Global temperatures dropped by about 1 degree Fahrenheit. That might sound small, but for farming, it was devastating. And then something unbelievable happened. In parts of New England and the northeastern United States, snow began falling in June. Yes, snow in June. Farmers woke up to frozen fields. Corn and wheat died before they could grow. In some places, lakes even formed thin layers of ice during the summer months. People were terrified. Many believed the strange weather was a sign that the world might be ending. But the strange weather didn't just affect America. In fact, Europe was hit even harder. Cold temperatures and constant rain destroyed harvests. Food became extremely scarce. Bread prices skyrocketed. Across several countries, desperate people began rioting in the streets for food. Historians now consider this one of the worst food crises of the 19th century, all caused by a volcano on the other side of the planet. But the volcanic ash created something else too. Something strange, but beautiful. During this time, people noticed the sunsets looked completely different. The sky glowed with deep red, orange, and purple colors, much brighter than normal. Why did the sky suddenly look like a painting? Those volcanic particles in the atmosphere were scattering sunlight in unusual ways. Artists began painting these dramatic skies. Some historians believe the famous painter J.M.W. Turner captured these strange sunsets in his artwork. Nature had literally changed the color of the sky. But the strange year of 1816 didn't just affect the weather. It also helped create one of the most famous monsters in history. During that cold summer, several writers were staying near Lake Geneva in Switzerland. But the weather was so dark, cold, and stormy that they spent many nights indoors telling ghost stories. One of those writers was Mary Shelley. During that strange summer, she began writing a story about a scientist and the creature he brought to life. That novel would later become one of the most famous horror stories ever written. Frankenstein. And strangely, it might never have been written without that volcanic eruption. Eventually, by 1817, the volcanic particles slowly began clearing from the atmosphere. Sunlight returned to normal, temperatures gradually recovered, and the seasons finally behaved normally again. But the year 1816 left a powerful reminder, because more than 200 years ago, the world experienced something almost impossible: snow in summer, global food shortages, and a season that simply disappeared, all caused by a single eruption, one volcano, on one island. That changed the weather of the entire planet and created the year. Summer disappeared,